And I'm Nihal Kyasa.
And we're so glad that you can be meeting with us on such short notice so that we can be discussing this major problem that we've had with our latest vendor. Now, today in our meeting, we're going to be discussing our purchasing decisions. We're going to be evaluating the performance of our current and future vendors. We will be assessing our risks and service standards. We're going to be re identifying our brand promise, which is so important to us.
First, let's talk about the nature and scope of purchasing. Now, both of these are extremely varying. The scope of purchases can vary a lot. They can be either very small and something that's very minimal to a company, or something that's huge and it is monumental and it makes a big difference in a company's success. And purchases can also depend on a lot of factors. That's just the nature of it. It's very variable, and businesses have to look at a lot of different factors and a lot of different variables when deciding who to make a purchase from, whether it's purchasing an item or purchasing a service from another company. And in our case, the purchase was a very big deal in terms of scope, and it also had two main factors that played into our decision. And those two factors were the cost and reliability of the business that was acting as a vendor for our treats. And so while we looked at cost and reliability, these are two very important factors, but we over evaluated cost to an extent that created an issue for us. And because Sniff Treats was on paper the best option because of its low cost, that's what led to this whole issue, because we should have evaluated reliability to a higher standard and to a higher extent.
Yeah, you're totally right. Now, when we went through identifying our potential safety issues, now us here at Bow Wow, we're in the dog bed business and our dog toy business. We we don't really specialize in giving out treats. However, we do small things like giving free treats every single customer or order that goes out, just to show that we appreciate their patronage to us. But we also need to understand that some of the safety issues we can come into contact with, since we're giving out those free treats, even if they're free, those are still products coming from the Bow Wow enterprises. Like, it's coming from our store still. So we need to understand that we are held accountable when those dog treats may not be in the best condition. Like, as we understand, our vendor made a recall on them, and because of that, we were still giving it out and they didn't tell us. So that's still going to be our fault because of it. The dogs got moderately or very sick, like 50 of them, because of our products that went out there. We need to take a step back from business perspective, understand that dogs could have died. This is a very serious problem and safety issue, and we need to make change.
Yeah, so let's evaluate our vendor's performance. Let's evaluate how Sniff Treats was doing. Now, without a doubt, I think nobody would disagree by saying that Sniff Treats was very poor in their business that they conducted with us. And the issue wasn't that they had to recall an ingredient. We want to make sure that that's very clear. You can't penalize a company for messing up. Everybody makes mistakes, and we understand that. We make mistakes too. We made a mistake right here, and that's how the issue happened. But the issue happened in the lack of communication, and that's where we have the problem, and that's where we can't. That's the reason why we can't do business with Sniff Treats anymore. Is that they had such poor communication with us. You can't recall an ingredient and not tell people. Companies have to do that all the time. Chipotle, Bluebell, etc. So many reputable and popular food companies have had mistakes in their ingredients, and they've had to fix that. But they've done so in a mature manner, and in that way, their company still thrives and people still love them. But in the case of Sniff Treats, they kept it very private and secret, and they didn't tell anybody. And in that way, nobody wins. It's a lose-lose situation, and that is just unacceptable to our standards. And in the future, if there's anything that happens, transparency, or there needs to be transparency in communication, and everybody needs to know about what's happening. So how are we going to fix this? Well, we've come up with a 5-step plan, as we have shown here on our official Bow Wow stationery. So the first step is to notify. We have to notify the public. We have to accept responsibility for what happened, and it is it is Bow Wow's fault, the fact that dogs are getting sick. And it's important to notify people that if their dog hasn't already gotten sick, that the dog could, and it is because of sniff treats, or it is because of our sniff treats that we were giving to the public. So we have to make sure that people know about that so that they can take care of their dog and take care of their side of the situation. Now, our second step is to cut ties. And this is with sniff treats. Now, as I mentioned previously, sniff treats made a very big mistake in communication, and we just don't tolerate that. We can't give them another chance because mistakes happen, but intentional miscommunication is something that we just cannot tolerate. So that's just it. Sniff treats is cut from doing business with us, and there's just that's that. And our third step is to make a deal, and that is with Chewy Bakes. And that Chewy Bakes was the second contender in our decision for when we were making a purchase for a vendor. And Chewy Bakes has a much higher reliability than Sniff Treats. And although their cost is a little bit higher, which led us to going with Sniff Treats in the first place, now after facing this issue, we found that it's worth the higher cost to go with Chewy Bakes if we're getting that higher reliability and better taste, in fact. And so our fourth step is to inform. And we have to inform the public about our change that we're making. We got to make sure that everybody knows that, hey, we are no longer selling people dangerous treats. We are back in the good business. And we have to make sure that we publicize this on all our media, on the website, on our social media, and we will even be calling in a press release with local news stations so that the community and our city knows that we have made a change and we're not selling dangerous items anymore. And we are a company that thrives on our community. We're very well known within our community. So once our community knows that we have made such a big change in our business, we'll make sure that we keep our customers and our prospective customers too.
Of course.
And then our fifth and last step is to incentivize. And the treats. The treats to start off were a way to make sure that our customers stay loyal to us. And so we want to make sure that we keep doing that. We don't want to lose the customers that had to take their dogs to the vet. We want to make sure that they keep coming back to us. And so in order to do that, we are going to make sure that our customers get a discount and that they're taken care of very well in the future going forward.
Awesome. So we sat down and we were discussing some of the potential factors that could affect our business risks or the different opportunities with that. And we understand the key correlation between our customer satisfaction and our sales. It is so important that we keep our customers happy and satisfied throughout all of this, especially during hard business times such as this one. And we understand there's going to be a bunch of customers that are very upset with that. It's completely understandable. And we need to make sure that we show our apologies. And we're going to be showing our apologies for this terrible incident. We're going to be offering exclusive discounts on purchases made by those who were specifically affected by this event. And also on the email that Nihal mentioned a little bit in the 5-step plan, in the letter that goes out to all of our patronages who may be affected by this and our apology, there's also going to be a link right there so that people are able to apply for compensation because of this. We understand that when dogs get sick, they may take them to the vet, and vet, of course, that costs lots of money. There's bills they got to pay, and it would be unfair for them to pay because of our mistake, So while we are cutting ties with our past vendor, we will be asking for compensation. We will be receiving compensation from them, and with that newly found financial reservoir right there, we're able to pay off these certain bills that from the owners of dogs that became sick about it. We just believe that it was the right thing to do since it was our mistake. We need to make sure that we are able to stand up for our own consequences and to make sure that we show our dedication and how much we love our customers, and we're so sorry about it.
Right, of course. And we want to make sure that we make our internal and external service standards very clear. Now, internally, safety is the most important thing. We want to make sure that we, the business owners and the people running the business, are safe, and our customers, the people keeping our business alive, are also safe. Everybody within our business has to be kept safe, so that everything keeps running smoothly. And customer service, after safety, customer service is our number one priority. And this is one of the main factors that we use in determining who to hire, is how well they work with customers. Because if you don't have employees that work well with their customers, well, we're a dog business. We can't really function without good customer service. And so we want to make sure that no customer will be unsatisfied after buying one of our products, because if they are, then we failed as a business and we need to improve later. So externally, well, we want to make sure that every company that we do business with has the exact same or even higher standards than us, because anybody with lower standards than us, we just won't, that doesn't run smoothly. They're just not the business for us. We want to make sure they hold themselves to extremely high standards. And then our one main rule when we're doing business with other companies is that we need to make sure that we maintain that complete transparency in business that I was talking about earlier. And this is something that we lacked in our business that we were doing with Sniff Treats. And so that led to a really big issue. And we want to make sure that in the future, we don't continue any of that, and that we make sure that any communication is transparent, and that we're telling each other everything that's going on within our business that we're doing with each other.
Of course. Now, finally, we're going to be talking a bit about our company's brand promise. Now, it's really easy when there's high tense moments like this. We're all super stressed out. We're trying to make sure our company isn't completely destroyed by this one incident. Nihal and I, we talked about it. We sat down and talked about our brand promise. Every decision that we make revolves around our brand promise, and that promise revolves around making sure that all of our customers' pets, all of our customers' dogs are as safe and happy as possible. You know, if we keep that as our number one priority, and we keep that in mind as we're making all these different business decisions, then we're able to make the correct decisions every time, you know. And I think what happened earlier, before all this happened, is that through trying to save money and support ourselves financially through just saving that little bit of pocket change, through choosing the Sniff Treats vendor, we lost sight of what really matters. It's the dogs and the relationship between our customers and their dogs. You know, there's a love between yourself and your dog. There's a connection relationship right there that is really something different. And we want to make sure that we're able to grow that relationship through providing comfortable beds for the dogs, and through providing toys for the dogs, that they're able to create more memories together. And I think through trying to choose that cheaper solution, we just lost sight of that. So we need to constantly reel ourselves back into our brand promise, and always make sure that our dogs and customers are our first priority. And we want to make sure that we continue to make it feel personal. Now, I think a big advantage of Bow Wow, what we have here, is that we're not like a huge box chain. So we're able to have that personal connection with all of our customers. So we do plan on continuing to write handwritten letters to every single order. I think customers really appreciate that, and it shows that they're not dealing with a whole big corporation. They're dealing with dog lovers just like them, you know? There's that personal connection. We also, through changing our different vendors, we're able to still provide free treats for every single order, just because it just shows our appreciation and gratitude for them to choose our certain business.
Yeah, this has been a very rough few days for everybody. So both of us wanted to thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today. And I think no, I know that we will come back from this stronger than ever, because that's one of the few things that I love. That's one of the many things that I love about this company, is that we deal with adversity head on and we come back even stronger. You know, it was around this time last year that coronavirus hit our sales very hard, but we were able to come through that super strong, and we made it to where we are now. And we're not going to let this little incident get the better of us. And we're going to make sure that we come back strong, and that we come back with our community by our side, making sure that every dog is safe and happy. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today, and let's get to work.